Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're looking at some Wizard of Oz stuff.
That's right. This one might be therapeutic for some people. A lot of people, certainly around our age, who have vague memories of being traumatized by this one.
Yeah, I got a bit of that.
But you don't know why. So the whole time watching this, I'm like, I wonder if this is the bit.
Yeah. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, where's the flying car? Oh, that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I've mixed them up.
Ian Fleming's own?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyways, leave a like because we're looking at 1985's
Go on. Yes, correct.
Return to Oz.
That's right. Directed by some guy.
Yeah, oh, look, I do want to talk about that.
Okay.
I think, look, there's some beautiful work in this.
Uh-huh, yeah.
You know, some world building and animatronics and special effects, and the music is great, the score at least, because it's not a musical. But it's definitely missing something that the first one had. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, here's something that it's not missing, but it felt notable to me. So in this Dorothy, not played by Judy Garland anymore.
No.
She was an older lady at this point.
Or dead.
But instead, this is Fairuza Balk, who had a very significant career after this.
Happy Gilmore.
And
no, the other one.
She was Nancy in The Craft.
Yeah, but she was also, not Happy Gilmore. What's the one? The one where Adam Sandler plays a football player got hit in the head. The Water Boy.
There we go. Yeah. Yes. But a bunch of stuff. I think she's great generally, but I feel like, and I think she's good in the role.
I think she's great. Yeah.
The character looks significantly younger than Judy Garland was, and this is supposed to be set after that. And I'm like, it never feels like she's the same character to me.
I think that is a problem with this as well, because even though it's sort of a direct sequel, but it's Disney, it's not MGM.
Right.
So there's one MGM element that does carry over.
The Lion?
No. Well, even then, like, they're returning characters.
James Bond?
Yeah. The returning characters, they don't look like the previous one. The Scarecrow just is like a big frozen head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just a terrifying smile.
The Tin Man is just sort of like he would never work in live action because he's got a really like a pin narrow neck.
The Lion's a lion.
Yeah.
And look, I know that is more accurate to the books.
James Bond's George Lazenby at this point.
Yeah, definitely. George Lazenby was still doing it in the 80s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he was still doing something in the 80s, I'll tell you that
right.
much, Mason. But how we got here was that Disney purchased the rights to the remaining 13 Oz books in 1954. So they started production on a movie called The Rainbow Road to Oz.
Okay. All right.
That never went through. Film rights were
that became a Mario game.
They did.
If I recall.
Right. That's right. Film rights were about to expire in the 80s before Walter Murch, his one and only movie that he directed, stepped in for an idea for the sequel.
There's another director involved in this. I'll mention
there absolutely is. We should talk about that too. So, yeah, this is like a blend of a couple of the books. And at this point, also, they're in public domain. And in the books, the slippers aren't ruby, they're like silver.
Yeah.
So the one element they actually had to pay for was
Ruby slippers.
Because that was still held by MGM.
Yeah.
And presumably still is.
Yeah, but they were probably going bankrupt at the time.
Yeah, they were probably going bankrupt.
They'd take anything at this point. What is also interesting, so this, I wasn't...
You need the slippers, by the way, because that's the only thing people, people would be confused.
In this, they've been transformed from kind of like a kind of symbolic novelty to a sort of like wish fulfillment weapon of mass destruction that can do anything.
It's Anakin's lightsaber.
Right?
But shoes.
Yeah, that's right.
They've killed so many people, those shoes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
They're like those shoes that Russian lady has from Russia with Love. The knives in them. The Nome King went around and individually kicked everybody to death.
I wish he did.
With ruby knife shoes. But what I was going to say, so this one, for the most part, is based on Ozma of Oz, the book.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the stuff in this is directly from that book, but also it's such a disconnect because most of the characters from the previous movie aren't in this.
Yeah.
Or it's just a bunch of new guys.
And I don't think that necessarily hurts it.
I think it does a bit.
Yeah, no, okay. It does hurt it, but I do love the design element of these new characters.
Yeah.
Tik-Tok, for example, perfect name, by the way.
Right.
And you're early. You're way too early.
Yeah. Kids, if you're not interested in the movie, there's Tik-Tok in it. So maybe just watch it and we'll wait. Guess what? We tricked you. It wasn't Tik-Tok the app at all.
He's a big ball. He's a big ball man. So that had a contortionist in it and he would walk backwards.
Okay.
You can only do it for 15 minutes. Adam Savage has got a video on it that's great where they pull it apart and look at the inner workings.
Okay.
And then by
they torture Tik-Tok to death.
Basically, he could do it for like an hour.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, they've got him. They've got the Gump, which is a moose's head you could tie to whatever. They bring to life with a powder. And they've got another one.
Can we talk about the Gump for a second?
Yeah.
Well, the Gump evidently was played by two people, was voiced by two people, Lyle Conway, but also Steve Norrington, who directed Blade.
What?
Yeah. and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
What?
I know. And I'm like, that can't be true. But then I clicked the link. It is true. Before he was a film director, he was the Gump.
He was the Gump. And there's a third one. Oh, it's the pumpkin-headed guy.
Yeah, Jack Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, there we go.
Who's, I believe, puppeted by Brian Henson.
Yep, that is absolutely correct. What I don't like about TikTok and the pumpkin-headed guy is they walk so precariously. There's a moment where they're going up a staircase, and I'm like, no, don't.
Was that your childhood trauma?
It must have been.
Yeah.
What was my childhood trauma from this? I think the electroshock therapy. Oh, by the way, the lesson in the last movie was there's no place like home. Stay in your lane. But in this one, it's, no, your house got flattened by a tornado and you've gone insane and everyone thinks you're insane because you went to Oz. But you really went to Oz? It wasn't in your mind. It was real.
But everybody thinks it's in your mind and you won't shut up about it. You keep saying it's real. And the only evidence that it was real was the ruby slippers, but you lost them. But even then, it wouldn't prove anything, would it?
Because they're shoes.
They're just shoes, but you stole them. You awful little delinquent. And so she's going to be sent to an asylum and get zapped by electroshock therapy. And they've done the same thing where, characters in the real world then get represented by people in Oz. And then she escapes to Oz once again, and another natural disaster sends her to Oz. Is that happening in this universe all the time? Just anything?
I guess it is.
A light hail and you're in Oz?
Yeah.
You're in a moped accident, you're in Oz? Bit of ice on the road, you're like, whoa, I'm in Oz. Oh, damn it.
How do I get back? Oh, it's really long and confusing. Can I do it now? Can I just learn my lesson now?
I'm going to have to meet an assortment of oddball characters and make their lives better in some way.
What do you mean I have to feed an egg to a rock man? What does that got to do with anything? That's a specific example that is in this movie, I do want to talk about.
I'm traumatized. But anyway, she ends up back in Oz. The Wheelers.
They freaked people out.
Well, my main memory of this movie was the Wheelers, so I assumed it was the source of my trauma in this movie.
Sure.
My fake comedy trauma for comedy.
And did you think one of them looked like Matt? And did you think one of them looked like Matt Fuhrer? No, sorry. And did you think one of them looked like... Fucking hell. What's going on?
I don't know, man.
And did you think one of them looked like... And did you think one of them looked like Matt Frewer?
A little bit.
Yeah, but it wasn't him.
No, it wasn't.
He was a stuntman.
And this is his era as well.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Yeah.
Crazy it's not Matt Frewer.
I don't understand it, quite frankly.
But anyway, upon a rewatch, I don't think so.
No?
They're fine.
They're fine. I mean... Also, like, in looking at them, unless you're on a flat plane, you're probably all right. You could close the door. They're not going to be able to open that.
The only thing moving more precariously than TikTok and Jack Pumpkinhead are these guys. You just tip them over.
Absolutely.
You crash your moped into them. I'm assuming I've got my moped from...
Oh, it came with you. Like the house came with you.
That's exactly
The chicken, there's a talking chicken, the chicken came with you. The moped comes with you.
They're like, you'll never defeat me. And I'm like, I'll kill you with this moped. I'll just drive it into you.
I'll run over one of your legs.
Yeah, that's right.
Break it in half. Yeah, I think they seem easy to evade. And are those wheels attached? Do they eat from a bowl like a giraffe drinking from a body of water, like legs splayed?
Yeah, maybe.
What's the situation here?
But then they'd be vulnerable to crocodiles.
They'd be vulnerable to crocodiles. They'd bite them on the head.
I enjoyed the part where TikTok just flailed around and beat the hell out of him. That was fun.
That was good.
Yeah, very cathartic.
He's fun. I like him.
Yeah, me too.
I like his different wind-up
He
bits.
reminded me of Mr. Hero, the Pneumatic Man.
Okay. Which is from?
It's a comic book.
I love comic books.
Yeah.
Comic book movies.
Yeah.
Also. Avengers.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Dark Knight.
Yep.
Heath Ledger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. That's to calm down some of our viewers that have not had a comic book reference.
I could put in the tags. We're going to get so much engagement.
Yeah, that's legit.
I don't tag anything. I don't know what works. I just stopped doing it. It's too hard. Mason, here's something that I think might have freaked me out.
TikTok. We could put TikTok in
Oh,
the
we
tags.
could actually. I'll put a hashtag TikTok in it.
Yeah.
The Queen with her multiple heads is horrifying.
Yeah.
And there is a moment where Dorothy goes to steal something from her and they all start screaming. And it is pretty upsetting, actually.
That might be it. That might be the
Maybe
source
that's
of the trauma.
the thing.
Yeah, so she has chopped the head off of some Oz natives and turned them to stone, and now she can put on whatever head she wants. Yeah,
She looks great.
She does look great.
Yeah. I like what she's doing.
I thought one of them was Parker Posey, but it wasn't.
It wasn't, Mason.
Before her time.
Before her time. I thought one of them was Matt Frewer. And it was his time, but it wasn't him. He's not in this movie at all, as far as I know.
He was too busy being in Generation X a decade or so later.
I agree. Some of the special effects that I think are really great is the stop
Gnome
motion.
King?
Yeah, that's exactly what I
The
was talking
Gnome
about.
King, the kind of I don't know. Did you look at any behind the scenes? Did they even have
stop
behind
motion.
the scenes? It is stop motion.
Yeah.
Great. That's what the behind the scenes. You click on the
Yeah,
behind
it's
the
stop
scenes.
motion.
Yeah, it's stop motion.
How else do you think we did? It's the 80s.
Yeah. What do we use computers? Shut up.
Yeah, you an idiot?
Yeah, I'll stop playing Pong for a second so I could do some computer-generated rocks on my computer.
So I
on
can-
my Apple IIe, you idiots.
Yeah. Do you know the bit where the Gump is eaten by a big rock, man? Yeah, I did that on my Apple too.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
I stopped playing, what's the one where they swing on the ropes or whatever?
Pitfall?
Pitfall. Thank you.
You stopped playing Pitfall?
Yeah.
That's a good game, probably. I don't know. Yeah, I think also where this falls down is there's a logic.
Go on.
I don't know if you'd call it a logic, but there seems to be like a through line of why things are sort of happening in the first one. And I know like the witch dies because she gets water on her or whatever. But here, the rock guy eats an egg,
Yeah,
as I alluded to before when I said it explicitly.
Yes.
And he's like, oh shit, that was a thing I'm not supposed to do. Which I guess sort of tracks in this universe where a weird thing will kill a person for whatever.
Yeah, but it's also foreshadowed earlier in the movie.
I know,
That's
'cause
when
he
there are
wants the
chickens
chicken,
allowed.
I know.
No chickens allowed.
I know there's no
Yeah.
chickens allowed. But like, even then, I just don't,
Okay.
I don't know, it's just kind of out of
Well,
left field.
I think it tracks perfectly for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you loved it?
Yes.
I just think the personality is just not here. And not to say there are bad performances, but there is something about the Wicked Witch and her pursuit and the flying monkeys and all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And that is all, there's versions of that here, but it's not quite
Is
the
it
same.
because with the main antagonist of the first one, it's just the Wicked Witch, but in this we've got the Nome King and we've got the Queen and maybe
Switchy Witch Head.
yeah, Switchy Witchy,
Yeah.
Switchy Witch Head lady.
And then all the wheelie guys and whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. I think also the personality is stripped out of a lot of the things that we recognize, as we talked about. Like the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Tin Man turning up. Their entire, like, the idea that that's a person in a suit and the fun of that is just, it's completely evaporated.
the idea that we are all kind of playing make believe.
Yeah.
I think that I mean maybe the
Like, why is some things consistent and one, like,
Yeah.
one... I'm not happy to see this
Yeah,
version
yeah.
of the Scarecrow. I hate him.
It kind of felt like the first one really was very ahead of its time in the sense that it did feel quite self-aware.
Yeah.
Like it did, a lot of the characters, especially the wizard in the first one, like they're all very well aware that they are like playing roles, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think the fact that it's dark is why it doesn't entirely work, or even also why it bombed. Or maybe
right.
maybe that probably helped it bomb initially.
It helped
because
it
I
bomb?
think
Yeah.
because I think there are kids movies from this era that are dark and spooky and freaked kids out, but they're remembered fondly.
Yes.
But I think there is a joylessness to this,
Right.
which kind of is the through line. Like it is this wondrous universe, but because everyone's been turned to stone, it's kind of empty. And there's like four guys like
Sure,
running
yeah.
around
Yeah,
for a bit. And I think, it is that. And there's that complicated element to the universe, which I don't like. He ate an egg. As I know I keep coming back
You're
to
obsessed, man. Is this because you traumatized because you love eggs?
it. I like eggs.
You like an egg.
I would hate if I ate an egg and then I was poisoned by that egg. But it would have to be a regular egg.
Yeah.
If it was a poisoned egg, I'd be like, that tracks.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
if it was a regular egg, no.
Another scene that potentially maybe was the one that traumatized me as a kid
Yep.
is the point. Speaking of being transformed, is the when all the companions, they go down into the hall of
Yep.
trinkets and etc. and they have to guess which ones are
Yeah.
have been is the Scarecrow been transformed into an ornament, and if they guess wrong they get turned into an ornament. That might have been it, honestly.
That is harrowing.
I mean, there's more harrowing films in the world.
Sure, I could think of some.
Hmm.
I'm not going to, but I could.
That was on me for most of the recording. If you
bug.
noticed me going like this, it was under my shirt and I had to squash it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought you were just having a good time
No, I was having a bad time.
because of the bug.
I thought it was a worm initially.
What?
Yeah.
I'll get a photo
just
of it.
felt-
It'll go in the video.
We can cut this out, I think.
I'll get a photo of it.
It's irrelevant.
It's going in the video.
Fine. Fine, if that's what you want.
But I think also there is a horror to that, and the horror for that is that it's nonsense.
Right.
And you can't really... I mean, they do logic their way out of it, but even when they start to win, the guy's like, "No, I'm eating people now."
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I think that's not wrong. I think also it's not a musical, and even though the music in this is
I think
good,
that too.
yeah, I think the score is good, and here's who did it. I think, that
Whoa, it's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross from Nine Inch Nails. Damn, they're good.
they're so good. This was their era.
Yeah, right.
Like Matt Frewer. I think that also adds something. Because even though there is darkness in that first movie, because it's not like that movie isn't dark. It is. It's like it also traumatized children in the way that this did. As we talked about, the woman who played the witch, Margaret Hamilton, she spent the rest of her life telling people that she was a nice person.
Right, yeah.
Because of how well she played that. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
A bunch of characters in this movie have had to spend their whole life saying, I don't have wheels for hands. Look, you can see them.
Regular.
I don't know. I still think you're lying.
Anyways, Mason, it's time for Trivia to Oz. This is the first use of the Walt Disney Pictures logo with the rainbow going over the blue castle. And now they use that in the Disney Plus logo where it goes click, whatever.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Cartoonist, you'll know this, you'll recognize the thief, Mason.
Oh, yes.
Cartoonist at the time, Tim Burton, he acknowledged that Jack Pumpkinhead was inspiration for Jack Skellington in the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas, a movie he didn't direct.
He didn't direct it, but everybody thinks he directed it.
That's right.
But also, this movie didn't invent you get a guy and you put a pumpkin on his head.
It didn't?
I don't think so.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
That was 1983's Stop or my mum will put a pumpkin on my head.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about, you mentioned this. You can talk about it because you know.
I bet I don't.
What happened with the director on this?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I only wanted to talk about Stephen Norrington.
Oh, I've got another thing. So Disney fired the director Walter Murch a week into production due to budget concerns. So they found the dailies, they were kind of slow in the pace of the thing. They were like, we don't love this. So he contacted Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas, and they lobbied Disney to rehire him.
Okay.
Lucas even said, if this falls behind, I will take over and finish this film. Wow. He would have come out of director's jail for making 3 Star Wars movies too well to do this. So I love that. And the other thing is, when George Lucas visited the set one day, he came across producer Rick McCallum, who of course ended up being his producer on, well, through the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles and up through the Star Wars prequels. So they met. I know people hate Rick McCallum. We talked about him. We talked about the prequels because he's like, oh, what a yes man or whatever. But he was pivotal in making George Lucas's vision for the Star Wars prequels. And they met right here.
Wow.
With Stephen Norrington also probably.
He was there as well. I'm here too. I could help.
Blade. What? Blade.
Are you threatening me, sir? Hollywood police, get that man.
Oh my God. Mason, box office on a budget of $28 million, which is a lot of money for the time, but not now. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It made, in its initial run, $11.1 million.
Well, that's a big bomb.
Yeah, it became a bit of a cult classic. Disney kind of buried it from the get-go.
Creepy,
yeah, they didn't like it. They had new executives come on board during post-production and they were like, we hate this. So they basically gave it limited promotion and a short theatrical run, which for the time was probably 8.5 months.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And
you kids don't know.
No. And it's
all we had in theaters was Return to Oz. And you'd be like, your parents would be like, you want to see a movie? Return to Oz is out. And you'd be like, no.
No, thank you, not that one. Yeah. Well, I think though, with the invention of the internet and people being like, what was that movie I saw that frightened me so much? This has had a resurgence and it is kind of getting a bit more respect, which it deserves, by the way, because it's a marvelously made film.
Let me tell again, that stop motion's good.
Yeah.
The initial stop motion, you first see like some hints of it, you're like, it's not that great.
Yeah.
But then as the movie progresses, it gets a lot better.
You go, what is this, Pingu?
Yeah, right.
It gets better, etc.
What is this, Gumby? What is this,
Plasmo? Australian stop motion thing. Remember this fucking nightmare? Look at it.
Oh, yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, Plasmo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plasmo.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've got one more Wizard of Oz movie, which we're going to come back and talk about.
What is this, Trapdoor?
I love Trapdoor.
Right?
Burke! Feed me, etc.
Absolutely.
Don't you open that trapdoor.
Precisely.
Burke, stop opening the trapdoor.
I think you should probably
all sorts
stop
of
opening the
monsters in
trapdoor,
there.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't open the trapdoor, Burke. There's monsters in the trapdoor. Great song. And there was.
I know. I was there.
Yeah,
I was there, man.
You were there. Anyways, if you do want to watch the next Wizard of Oz movie we're looking at, Oz the Great and Powerful, you can actually head over to bigsandwich.co because all our videos go up there early. But that's not the only thing. We've got video game Let's Plays.
We got bonus podcasts.
That's right. We've got movie commentaries.
That's right.
Our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out there ad-free and early on Sunday as opposed to Monday. But if you just want to listen to that podcast where we shoot the shit about the news of the week.
Excuse me?
We shoot
we
the
shouldn't,
shit.
We shan't be that crude.
It's an expression, Mason.
I don't like it.
Okay. We shoot the poop?
Yeah. No.
No?
What? No.
That
sounds weirdly little. That sounds weirdly literal, and I don't like it.
We Nerf gun the poop. How about that?
What? No.
It's safe.
I think we'll go to prison for that.
I think that's true. I hope. Anyway, The Weekly Planet, forget all that, but it is on its own YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. If
I think I can never forget all that.
No, you have to. All right.
I think I'm re-traumatized again. I thought I'd end this video cleansed of my trauma from this movie.
No.
But your weird words have made me traumatized again.
All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.
Grab that jammy, guys. We'll see you real soon.
And thank you to Lawrence for the edit.
Thank you, Lawrence.